Kiyah Wright is one of the most sought after hairstylists in the entertainment industry. Kiyah, a multi Emmy Award-winning celebrity hairstylist and beauty authority, has created the industry's most sought after hairstyles for celebrities such as Tyra Banks, Jennifer Hudson, Halle Berry, Ciara, Gabrielle Union, Taraji P. Henson, Laverne Cox, Deborah Cox, literally everyone. When Kiyah is not creating the hottest red carpet looks or serving the industry's top celebrities, her work can be found gracing the pages of magazine covers such as Vanity Fair, GQ, Elle, InStyle, Essence, and Vogue. After working with the best companies in town, Kiyah took a leap of faith and created her own line, MUZE Hair. Kiyah's MUZE hairline is trusted by Hollywood's hottest celebrities and offers a collection of premium wigs, extensions, and products that provide instant beauty solutions to women across the globe. Now her newest venture has been writing and releasing her new book, From Beauty to Business, the guaranteed strategy to building, running, and growing a successful beauty business. Kiyah, welcome to the Volume Up podcast. We are thrilled to have you here.
Wow, that was a really good bio, Kiyah Wright.
I mean, check the IMDb credits. Like, we are not messing around here.
Wow,
Kiyah,
that's really cool.
We are thrilled.
I've read the new bio. Wow, I'm excited for myself.
You're a big deal. We're definitely excited to have you. So, Kiyah, for those who have been living under a rock and don't know your story, tell us a little bit about how you got into beauty. Did you always think you were going to do hair?
I don't even know if, did I think I was going to be in the beauty industry? I was 14 years old. Literally, my mom she would say, do my eyebrows. And she would lay across my lap and I would pluck her eyebrows. I think that was like the beginning of it. And even when she would send me to my grandmother's to like get away and go do something with yourself and help out and go to work, she would send me to my grandmother's salon, the Wright salon. That was probably like a mile down the road. And I would just kind of assist her. She was like an older woman. She did granny curls and crocodile curls and roller sets and things like that. And I would just help out, but never thinking or dreaming that I would become a celebrity hairstylist at all. So I don't even know how I got in it. I think it was just hustling. I was just hustling, trying to make money.
Fair. That's honest. We love that. So describe your own relationship to hair and beauty. Do you feel like you've changed things over time doing this professionally? How has the relationship evolved?
My relationship with beauty is, I think it's personal as well. You know, I know that how you look is definitely an emotional connection to how you feel. So if you don't look good, you probably don't feel good. You know what I mean? Because it's so emotionally connected. So for me, I try to set the example. When I walk out the house every day, you know, how I wake up with my meditation or whatever sets the tone for the day is how I walk outside. So I don't care that I'm going to the salon. I'm going to dress up because when those women see me, they respect me differently. They perceive me differently. They digest everything so differently. So when I'm recommending a hairstyle, color, added services, all the things that help you as a stylist, but also more so help the client to look better, feel better, give them that instantly beautiful, feeling, that is really my goal. So the relationship, I think, starts with me and my own personal passion to feel and just look my best self,
Well, and your best self, you're looking today. Thank you so much for joining us and talking about all of the work that you've been up to these past years. Look, Kiyah, you mentioned at the top, celebrity hairstyles. You didn't dream that it would be a thing, but you are. And you've worked with so many incredible women across the spectrum of entertainment. So talk to us a little bit about how that happened. I mean, it is one thing to be a professional stylist. It is quite another to make the leap to celebrity hairstyling. So how did this come to be? Who were your first clients? Talk to us about that.
I think it started with a simple, not even a simple, just not even knowing that I manifested this. I was watching I was probably like 14, and I just remember watching a television show, the Grammys. And then I saw Anita Baker and I saw Madonna win a Grammy. And I just remember them saying something like, and I want to thank my hair, and Madonna saying, I want to thank my hair and makeup team because without them, this could not be possible. And I thought to myself, I'm 14, I'm like, wow, this could actually be a career. Oh, this could be like, I could make money. I could be with the Hollywood stars. I was like, whoa, this is the beginning. And I think that really set upon my consciousness. Like it really sort of guided my life, you know. And then my mom passes away. She puts me in hair school and it was $150. We bought a kit and that was literally the beginning of my journey. And I started out, and my celebrities were the drug dealer girlfriends. I wanted to do hair for the popular girls. Yep. And those girls in Washington, D.C. at the time, if I'm honest, were the popular girls. And I was like, I just remember going into a salon and seeing these girls and I was like, oh my God, I want to do their hair. You know what I mean? And that really is how it started. And then from there, just sort of hanging out, I met Puffy. He was doing the Howard, he was doing parties, all of that great stuff. And he was hanging out with me and my friends. And he was like, I started going back and forth to New York. And he was like, you know what? I want you to work with my artist. And I want you to do their hair. And I just remember doing trial runs with Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans. From there, going on road, going on the tour. I started in the bad boy days. So I call them the Diddy years because those years were iconic. Okay. We're coming out of like, Run DMC years. And now we're into the bad boy, that mantra just stuck in our heads. And I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought, you know what I mean? And these times just really, set the tone and the template for the career that I was to have coming after that, and from there, it just sort of spiraled. I started working with artists. I started touring. I toured for 12 years of my career. I lived on the road. I lived out of a suitcase, which all of these things really helped me in my life. When I think back about it, helped me with speed, timing, being ready myself personally from morning to night, because we would go to the radio shows in the morning, Ed Lover, Angie Martinez, all of them girls to the club at night. So I would be ready from day to night, still cute, because these, the music world and Puff and all that, cute. You had to be right. And my responsibilities was making sure I took care of the artist and all that great stuff. So that's really how I started. But I was also a salon artist at heart, because when the road wasn't popping, I had to still make money. So I had to maintain this clientele at the salon, but also being on the road. And everybody told me, you can't do it. You're going to lose clients. And for some reason, I maintained all of these years being a salon stylist and being a celebrity stylist. And then my career just evolved from New York to LA.
Incredible. Well, and it doesn't happen by chance. I mean, you made that happen for sure. And we know that, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But in the celebrity realm, and you just name dropped some of the most iconic figures in music, period, end of story. I mean, the Diddy years, like so formative, like the shiny suits, the sunglasses, those, I mean, like, and again, and it's all back, which is the craziest thing. So, I mean, like, you having had your hand in it the first go round, seeing it come around the second time has got to be crazy. But talk to us about a favorite celebrity hairstyling moment. Like, what are the things, I mean, you talked about a few of them, but what are the things that like go down in your book, which is very long, of Kiyah's hairstyling with celebs, that you were just like, that's the one, that style, oh my God, like it's what everybody asks for, it's what I'm most proud of.
You know what? I don't even think that it was, I think I probably was one of the first girls that was doing beach waves for Black people. For Black people. Because of course the white girls were doing the beach waves, their style. But with Black hair, we always want our hair to last. So we was doing harder, a little more set, a little more crunch, a little bit more. When I moved to Los Angeles, everything changed. So for me, it was like era to era. You know what I mean? Like the 90s, 2000s, because I was probably like late 90s, early 2000s, to moving to Los Angeles, which was different for me. It was a whole different, if I could just grab on the moments versus the styling.
Yeah, love it.
You know, the transition was great because I'm all about growing, transitioning, learning, stepping up my game. So from New York, DC was humidity hair, relaxers, you know, crunch curls, more set curls, you know, to moving to LA was more about hair blowing in the wind, color, you know, doing better extensions, all of these great things, because a lot of the girls was doing a little more natural or glue-in tracks and things like that. So just being able to transition my look really for me on a broader scale was more fascinating and more rewarding. You know what I mean? Because now I'm able to keep up with the trends. I'm doing television. You can't be doing crunch curls on TV. Curls got to be brushed out and a little bit softer, movable, and everyday feeling. You know what I mean? So transitioning my personal style for me was iconic. If I could think of a look, Tyra for, I think it was the Emmys, and she did like this beautiful updo that we wore for 3 days. Then she transitioned to the TV show and slept her up like this for 3 days and wore that look. So I think that was probably one iconic look that I was really excited about.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. We'll add it.
Look online, I look for updos. That hairdo is everywhere. Tyra Banks, over the shoulder, swoop with a bun on the side. It's everywhere. Like, so that probably for me was one iconic look. That was kind of understated, but it was like everywhere.
Everywhere. No, truly. Like, I mean, that's the thrill of being able to talk with you, is that you are the architect of so many of these really iconic looks throughout the years, and that are all being referenced right now, which is, again, I've got to say, like, I would imagine hugely flattering. So what are some of your go-to looks? So like when you're talking with celebs, are there certain things that you know with different clients, like they're not going to want to change it up too much? There's like, they're safe in this color story. They like this texture. What are the things that you sort of go to when you're working with celebs over the years? Because you've got a lot of long time repeat clientele.
I do. And that's really one of the good things too, is that, you know, I work with clients I've worked with really big clients. Those clients like the Tyras, the Jennifer Hudsons, even Ciara has, you know, maintained a really long-term career. A lot of these girls that I work with, it's like, it's awesome to still be in their lives and to evolve them and their look. So for me, it's just about, my go-to is just, you know, staying in trend. You know what I mean? That's one. And you know your girl. So the most thing that I think for me in my portal, I've been known for just evolving a lot of the brown girls into the color world. Because color is not something that a lot of the Black community was really into. The science, the colors, that's kind of new. So like, meaning new over the last like 5 years. It's not like we didn't do color, but it just wasn't as popular. So color is like really my go-to for the extensions, the wigs. Ciara, all her wigs are mine. So we do a lot of beautiful colors. And introducing colors. So sometimes like with a Jennifer Hudson, she can't because she's a television actress and a singer, but television is more of her prominent role in her career. You know, she can't go too over the top crazy. Yes, she'll cut it all off. We'll put weaves in, but she will not go too bright and too far off with the colors. So color, I would say, is probably something that people know me for now. Wigs, extensions, things like that. You know, instant beauty solutions. I call them instant beauty solutions. It's instant.
And we're going to get into all of those in a minute. So don't you worry. I know that our audience is interested in hearing about the book in particular. Let's really just, before we move on to some of these other things, in the realm of entertainment, you've won 2 Emmy Awards, which is insane. I mean, this is not something that happens every day. But again, you're not someone who's just anyone. So Kiyah, tell me what that was like. When you got the nomination the first go round, what were your thoughts? Did you imagine that this would be something that would be in front of you? Did you manifest this, do you think?
So like I said, when I saw those women up on that stage giving that award, I just was like, wow, in my head, like I'm like 14. I'm like, wow, you can get acknowledgement for doing hair? Wow. Because for me, it was always natural. You know what I mean? Like I said, I started out plucking my mom's eyebrows and doing her hair, you know what I mean? Before she passed, maybe like a few times before she passed. And I never thought that hairstyling could be a career. That's number one, because it was a hobby. It was so natural. It was just something I did at the house, my friends, sneaking people in, a whole bit. It wasn't anything that I could see even going this far and even being this relevant this long. You know what I mean? So it was, even the night I won, I just remember going to the ceremony, and I just remember like asking my sister, hey, would you come with me? She came with me. She flew in town from DC. She came with me. And I just remember looking for an outfit that day. And I was just like, oh, let me find an outfit. And, you know, in my life, I've always had these huge moments, but I'm so busy in the busy of being busy and what's next. And I sometimes don't digest where I'm currently at. So I'm going to get the outfit. Something says, you know what, you might want to write a little something just in case, because don't they write a little something? Don't they? Oh, I probably should thank the Academy too, right? Oh, and Tyra. Shoot. Okay, cool. Go to the award. I just remember, sitting in my seat and remember the hair and makeup and beauty and the guild, that whole world. They never show that on television, ever. So, you go to the ceremony, it's a little boring dinner, and, everybody's there and it's dark. And I just remember sitting in the seat, took a doze.
Oh, dozing. Kiyah, no.
And my sister said, Kiyah, and the winner is Tyra Banks show, Kiyah Wright. And I was like, oh my God, I actually won. I grabbed my paper and I'm like, oh my God, let me go back. I actually went back to get the paper. I'm like, shit, I wrote something. And I went up on the stage. I don't even think I read the paper. I just was like, oh my God. all I remember, you got to thank the Academy. I don't even know who to thank, how to thank. And I want to thank the Academy and Tyra Banks and I just couldn't even believe it. And I was like, wow, I actually won. And then I wanted to go the next year, and around that time was the time I had sort of decided that I was done with television. I was just bored with it and I was just way too creative. And then I won again. And I shared the award. I stayed half the season and I shared the award with another young man who is also really, really good. And that was that, so that was the moment.
That was the moment. And incredible. And so congratulations. I mean, all of these years later, it's still such an accomplishment. Do you think that there's maybe another Emmy win in you? Maybe an Oscar? Are we going to make it an EGOT? What are we thinking?
I'd love to win an Oscar. That would really be good. I just have to get motivated to want to be on a show really long. Like, of course, never know. Jennifer Hudson has a TV show coming out. I'm do the show. So, I could win an Emmy, but an Oscar would really be great because I've never won an Oscar.
Yeah.
I have a Hollywood Beauty Award, a Golden Scissor Award from DC, my hometown, and then I have 2 Emmys. So if I could win an Oscar, that would actually be great. I have not put that on my bucket list, but
well, we're going to manifest it for you here on this podcast. Yes. So thinking of other things that you've done in your career, I mean, television, celebrity hairstyling aside, you also created your own product line. So I don't know when you sleep. Let's talk about MUZE hair. Just how did this come to be? I'd love to hear about it. And I know that our audience is going to be really curious to see.
So when you work in the business for as long as I have, like I said, I'm 28, 30 years in this business. What's next? You know what I mean? How long can you run, after working on celebrities? Of course, wonderful. It's a wonderful life, well-traveled, meeting new people. It's exciting, creativity, the whole bit. But what's next? When you're getting older, your legs are tired, you're like, products. Products are the only thing that's sort of is tangible, lucrative, solution-based. You know what I mean? So that really was the next move for me, but I was in a Procter and Gamble exclusive deal for 13 years.
I was going to say, you sure were.
People really didn't know because I wasn't, when I signed on to P&G, Twitter and Instagram probably had just started.
Yep.
So I didn't get to brag about the Emmy. I didn't get to brag about any of these things.
Yep.
It was just another day of work as usual. So as years grew on, my relationship with Procter & Gamble sort of expanded to Pantene, the whole bit. And, my deal just ended after COVID. I got another deal right during COVID. And after that, I had decided, even before that, I was like, you know what? I gotta focus on my own brand. But when you're constantly getting checks, and they weren't little checks, they weren't just one-offs. They were really good checks that I don't think that they even do those type of deals anymore. Even my agent was like, hey, they don't even do these type of deals where you make this much money. So I was like, it was very hard to turn down that money during, I've lived through probably 3 major disasters: September 11th, COVID-19, and a recession in 2007. So when you have to think about how you're going to survive and try to live on the road and be with this artist, you know, you got to think about those things. So I continued to take the deal and be on the road, because how are you going to run a product line if you can't be there to do the development, to test the product, to really devote the time, test it on real hair? You have to be there. So you have to make a decision. Do you want to be on the road with the celebrities? Because, you know, you're at the height of Tyra Banks' career. She got top model and a TV show. Then you go with Jennifer Hudson. You got her from Dream Girls all the way to now. Where do you go? So do I leave or do I stay? And I chose to stay with the artist because it was more familiar to me. Now, I didn't understand products and things like that. You know what I mean? So that's actually why I went to work at Warren Tricomie, a white salon, because I wanted to understand products. So I was in class, and I think that, you know, I thought I was doing products, but I really moved more into an organic space, which was hair extensions and wigs. I finally spilled off, and I did that because it also wasn't competitive with Procter and Gamble. And I'm sharing all this because this is what artists kind of need to understand when they're
absolutely.
Or why didn't she do it sooner? And because there's so many layers, and everybody's timing is timing. You know what I mean? So that's sort of how I got into the extensions and wigs and that sort of part of the business. And then I started out with a hairspray originally because it was the only product that wouldn't be competitive to the products from Procter and Gamble. So it was really a natural sort of rolling because everybody needed hair. We're not using our own hair.
Well, especially now, I mean, you are largely responsible for popularizing, changing things up in this dramatic way. And so like, it's a natural extension of your own brand that you have.
Wigs, especially, I was doing lace front wigs with Tyra probably 15 years ago. Tyra was first. I would say 18 years, really. So
real talk. I mean, let's be real. Like, people were not doing this in the same way that they are now. You, again, largely paved the way for a lot of what is come and is sort of every day, but it wasn't every day 18 years ago. Exactly. Let's call it spade. So talk to us about how this came to be. I mean, so you're waiting, you're biding your time. You decide ultimately you're going to make this move. You're going to do the line. Where do you start? Like, how did you come up with the name, the branding, the sourcing of them? Like, talk to us about all of it.
So I started, when I came up with MUZE hair, I wanted something I wanted colors that felt mystical and rich. So I thought of Tiffany. When a woman gets a box of Tiffany's, how does she feel? She feels happy, blessed, fortunate, grateful, like, oh my God, this is a prize, like this is everything. So I wanted my product to feel like that. The bags, the boxes, and when your woman gets a piece of hair, she's like, this is like a gift. It really is. Change your hair, change your life. So that was one. And your muse is the person that inspires you. I inspire you, you inspire me. So that's where MUZE came from. And so I just called it MUZE hair. And I wanted it to be this beautiful Tiffany blue color. And I just worked on logos and taglines for years. You know, I started to run out with this whole line so many times, but again, I just kept signing deals. So I just started out with hairspray, and I just really focused on the extensions and wigs and packaging and branding on myself. You know, when you're with a celebrity for so long, you can't really even focus on you. At least those weren't the days. Now the days have changed. It has transitioned from the celebrity to the stylist. So now I've gone through so many eras, you know, so many eras. So
we are very excited about this era in particular. Talk to us about like, what is the thing that you least expected about this? I mean, like you talked about, again, you started with the hairspray, which made sense. It was a non-compete. You moved into the extensions and the wigs. Like, what has surprised you the most about having this brand?
Hmm. I would say what has surprised me the most is I was able to sort of make it through COVID with the brand. I was surprised people
Hey.
buying hair when they had to be at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you're
Yep.
at home, but people like my hair brand still helped me survive. You know what I mean? Like we're not able to do hair for 10 months. You know, you still got to survive. So that surprised me that hair extensions and wigs could really carry me over through hard times.
Mm.
I mean, that people still cared about being beautiful and that they actually still needed hair maintenance products to go virtual. So I was still like promoting their product line and my product line and virtual consultations and things like that, you know, and surprised me that I'm still relevant. You know what I mean? That's a surprise to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of people that get a little old school. They, like it's people still around, but they a little dated. You know what I mean? So that's a surprise. You know what I mean? It's a good surprise, and it's an aimed for surprise too. I aimed, in this space. You know what I mean? So I know I didn't get here. I aimed for it. So it's still a surprise. You know.
Well, talk to us a little bit about what is next for Muse. I mean, again, the line's expanded. The product is incredible. So wigs, extensions, spray, like all sorts of things. What's in the future? What can we expect now that we're sort of inching past COVID, maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So we can't.
Yeah. I know.
So what's next for me is actually to expand on the Muse hairline. That's really what my goal has always been to become the Paul Mitchell of textured hair care. Paul Mitchell, Frederick Fekkai, or Bay, all of these guys are iconic hair gurus. You know what I mean? Like, well, Paul Mitchell wasn't a hairstylist, he was a businessman, but that's really, when I say Paul Mitchell, that's some of the things that I love about Paul Mitchell. He's a businessman, and, there was a hairstylist, but he passed away. But I would love to take a brand into that level where we could start out with this prestige brand that's global, all across the world, and a hairstylist leads it, not a corporation or a marketing person, like a Black woman who is responsible for curly, kinky, textured, wavy hair in all textures. That's really my goal, and to expand more on the business of beauty.
Which is a beautiful segue, Kiyah. Let's talk about the book, because somehow in between celebrity hairstyling, COVID, all of that insanity, building up this brand, you decided to go and write a book. So let's talk about it. The business, beauty, excuse me.
It's from beauty, because remember, I started out from beauty to business. So that really is it. Like when I got the offer, someone said to me, "You should do a book," and that's kind of how I started doing. I started doing so many things with people just kind of throwing it out there. I'll be in the water so deep that I don't even think about it. And then someone mentioned, I was like, maybe I should. Then I run into a woman who wrote the book with me. Her name is Shirley Neal. She was a client of mine. She used to run the Africa channel and producer and that sort of bit. So then she started to become an author. And I ran into her in the store with the lady from Ancestry.com. And she was like, they were talking about writing her book. And she just started talking, and that was really it. And we started out with sort of like a biography of my life. And I saw it and I was like, I don't want a biography of my life yet, because no one cares.
Not yet.
Don't care yet.
Kiyah, people care. Let's be real. People care.
But I get, if you're not millionaire, billionaire, they don't care. I made millions, but but they really don't care. So I decided to, delve in, and we just started the process. And she started to give me basically a whole template of my life. I gave her all my journals, and she just wrote my life. And I said, now I need you to add the business. So throughout the book, you'll see a lot of my life circumstances that then led to business moves, or business fails, taxes was a big thing, because I was making so much money when I first started. I'm like 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. Who was paying taxes? I didn't know nothing about that. I didn't have financial literacy in my family, or barely anybody even went to college. So I just was making all this money, putting in a savings account, but really not understanding how to, and just hitting the road all the time. So there were so many things about business that I just didn't understand. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I do is give business entrepreneurs, beauty estheticians, makeup gurus, makeup estheticians, lash gurus. I wanted Instagram hairstylists. I wanted to give everyone a template, how to get started, be inspired. Do you have the entrepreneurial DNA to even do this? You know what I mean? Like, it's not just about this one product. It's about, or this one thing. It's about the long-term goals. And I wanted to give this audience and my peers something to think about as it related to the long-term. And I wanted to give you resources. So in this book, we give you QR codes, which has never really been done in the beauty space. So when you read it, I want you to pull out your phone and catch some of those videos. If you need to know what is a 941, what's a W-2, what's the difference, what's a 1099, what's a W-4, like what are these things? Literally up until like my late 20s, early 30s is when I even got a better understanding of what that even meant. You know, hold on. My phone.
It would happen this way. No worries.
A cell phone. I mean, who has a house phone? But me, just in case. So, there were so many resources that I did not have growing up. I did not have a real mentor. And I feel like every stylist needs a mentor. Every stylist, like a lot of stylists now, the world of hairstyling and hair salons, it's really changed. It's all about salon suites, which means they go straight from the school, straight to the suites. How do you learn? How do you grow if you don't have peers to learn from, to grow, be inspired by, learn? I wanted to learn. I went to work in a white salon after working in Black salons my entire career because I wanted to learn about products. I want to know what works better on your hair that's not full of grease and oil, because in our world of, hair and textured hair, we really focus on a lot of hydration, oil, things like that. But I wanted to learn more. I wanted to broaden my portfolio as it related to hair and textures. So I went to work at Warren Chaconi so that I could grow. So there I grew. I worked in the salon. I did booth rent. I had not done it in years. But why could I do booth rent? Because my prices were higher. I was right at the corner of Melrose Place, across the street from Vivian Westwood, Diesel, a Dash, the Kardashian store. I was right there on Melrose where everything was. So I elevated my clientele, my environment. I elevated everything by working at that salon, by taking a chance, being uncomfortable in my environment, being the only Black girl there, and I killed it. By the time I left, I ran that salon for the most part because I had 3 chairs in the back. Everybody was very respectful. It was a family environment, especially for me. I love working with peers and other stylists and things like that because it helps you grow. I learned a lot about color and I ended up staying there for 13 years. Oof. So I learned so much, you know what I mean? So that's where I learned a lot from the owner of that salon. He became a mentor to me. And he taught me so much. And I'm bringing this Black clientele into this white salon. It's not it had never been done, but it wasn't very common, especially here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, unfortunately, the industry does continue to be
very
too segregated. Yep, and there are people like you that are breaking down those boundaries, but there's so much more work to be done. Yes. And to your point, not everybody's got a mentor, but everybody can access this book and get the pro tips, get all of this insight and feedback that you've been, imparted with. So let's plug it. Where can people get the book? We are obviously going to link out to it in our show notes so that people can get to it real quick, but let's drop some links.
Yeah, so first off, you should totally follow me in my page. I'm giving you some awesome jewels right now on my Instagram. So I'm Kiyah Wright, #1. That's on Instagram. And you can also just check, if you are a Facebook person, you can go over to Facebook. It's MUZE Hair, M-U-Z with a Z, Hair, by Kiyah Wright on Facebook. And I also have MUZE Hair has its own page, which is called MUZE Hair Beauty. So follow me and be sure to get the book. It's all in the link on my Hoobie page.
Amazing. Yeah, and
Hoobie, so yeah.
Let's make it happen, y'all. All right, before we wrap here today, and we've covered so much ground, but we're going to cover just a little bit more with our quick takes. These are the things that we are asking of all of our guests every single time. The first question that we've got: quote that you love. What is a quote that Kiyah lives by?
If it ain't Kiyah, it ain't right. No, I'm kidding. Somebody said that to me, and it's so funny. I always have to think. A quote, man, I should have thought about this, and I actually did, but I have so many. My quote is always, and it's so cliche, but it's so good: change your hair, change your life. Because I already know when you change your hair, I know when I change your hair, I changed my life. And I know this because when my clients leave, they give me a hug. They're so happy and they reschedule. So which
is the best compliment.
Change your life. It is.
Amazing. All right. What is the last thing that you Googled?
Probably I am totally stalking Zillow and what's the other one? Redfin. I'm looking for a house. I'm obsessed all day looking at homes on Zillow and Redfin.
Relatable content. Let's be real. We all are looking. We talked about your different eras. There was the Diddy years. There was the LA Tyra show. There's the current. We're doing so much. What is the cringiest hair trend that you've tried? Or do you love them all? In which case, there is nothing to cringe over.
Oh, no. I remember one particular one that was a cringe. And it was when I was working with Tyra. And we would work on Top Model. And when we would work on Top Model, the looks from Top Model sometimes didn't transition to the daytime show. And the reason, because we would do this, was because Tyra would be so tired. She would be editing the Top Model show for hours at night, so that in the morning we would have to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning for the talk show. So some days, which is why she would sleep in her looks. And this one particular look, honey, was these two balls and then one here on the side. And this look was so crazy for daytime television that the TV show, they had gotten so many comments on this look that they decided to do an episode. And they came in the room and said, Kiyah, are you okay with us doing an episode? We got a stack like this of how many people hated her hair. Or they talked about it, laughed at it, whatever. And it was, but how they played it was really cool. They talked about this look being so crazy, but I got to explain what it was about. And then they let me feature other new hairstyles on the episode. That was so crazy that they let me sort of make up for it. It was crazy. It was like these two balls, but it was so cute.
Well, I mean, but you turned it into something else. You took the opportunity. So, shout out. All right. Shampoo bars. They're making a big move all of a sudden. We're getting rid of plastic packaging. Is it a yes or a no? Are you going to rock with the shampoo bar?
What does that mean?
Like straight up, like a soap bar, but it's shampoo and now conditioner. People are getting rid of all plastics, shampoo bars, conditioner bars. Would you be into it?
Wow, that is really genius. Yes, I would totally be into that. I really would. I don't know how you can do it with the conditioner unless you melt it down.
Yeah, I feel like don't look too close at what it is actually made of, which is scary. But people are doing it. All of a sudden, we're getting tons of press releases for...
The only reason why it would be a little challenging now that I'm doing the mechanics in my head is because with textured hair, we don't like to meshel our hair. When you use it, you're meshing, right? I'm assuming you meshel it, and I don't know if I'm making that word up because I make up words up. That's what you should ask me, how many words I've made up. Make up words all the time. Like logicify, that's a good one. But meshing with soap is not good for our hair. So you would have to like in your hand and then, so I don't know how it would be for our hair. That's the only thing. I don't know, but it sounds like a great concept. It really does.
Sounds like a great concept, and maybe something that MUZE should move into to worry about this for textured hair, because this does not seem to be applying for everybody, which is a no-go from our books. All right. What animal are you most like, Kiyah Wright?
What animal? Ooh, I might be like
the buildup.
Ooh, I may be like, I think of like a lion. I would think like a chow chow.
Yes.
A little feisty. I could be a poodle because I'm smart. So I'm a lion because I'm brave, I'm courageous, I'm confident, and I'm good, I take care of people, you know what I mean? So I would say a lion too.
Okay. All right. We are beauty junkies, hair obsessed on this podcast. So we want to hear about product. What is one product, just one product that you yourself cannot live without?
Toncho stick.
Go on.
The Toncho stick for me is probably one of my favorite products. Look, I can right at my fingertips too.
Yes.
Because it's so great. And it's look all messed up because it's all beat up. But this Toncho stick is a great product because I use it for, look, I got so many of them. Because I sell it, I use it, I love it. And it's a Japanese wax stick. And what I love about it is, it's multi-useful. I use it to blend the regular, like Black girls when they wear weave, to blend that with a flat iron into the tracks because it melts the hair down good. I use it for spiking and texture. You could use it to—
I was gonna say, I'm into this.
Hair. This is everything, and it's multi-useful. It's great for flyaways when I'm working on set, blending the tracks with the weave hair. Spiking, like I said, it's just a multi-useful product. So the Toncho stick.
All right. Well, we might be dropping a link in the show notes to that as well. What is a little bit of advice that you've got for our listeners who want to get to the top of our industry? So beauty pros, estheticians, hairstylists, colorists, like braiders, anybody who's listening right now, what do they need to do to be on top like you?
Well, I think that's one of the questions I asked in my book. Do you have the right DNA? Because, and that's something you really have to ask yourself. And I even give you a little quiz in here to just ask yourself those questions. Because with becoming as successful as I've become, it came with a lot of sacrifice. I don't have children either. You know what I mean? I hadn't had kids yet. So, that was a big sacrifice because it takes a lot of traveling, you're on the road, that whole thing. So one, you have to ask yourself, and you don't have to be a celebrity stylist in California or in any of the major cities. Wherever city you are, you can be a star. So you have to first narrow in on what is your niche. What are you best at? What do you love first? Then figure out what is your niche, because you got to be great at something, especially with the internet. It's just crowded with information and all those things and the things and the things. It's so much. So you have to stand out in all this noise. So what do you need to do first? You need to study, and you need to find someone you can mentor under so that you can find out what is your niche. Let's go back some. You know what I mean? First, you got to have the desire. Then you need to go and mentee under someone who's better than you, who you admire, who you want to be. I have people that reach out to me all the time that just want to work for me. And the ones that are most persistent, those are the ones that typically end up working with me. You know what I mean? Because I know they want to be there. I know and you have to have a lot of resilience, because I work with a lot of boss women. So they're a little bit more picky. They're a little bit more specific. You have to also understand customer service. I work in Beverly Hills. So I put myself in an environment where I can attract certain people so that I don't have to work so hard. Why am I going to work out of my basement or out of my, house which is going to then change the whole dynamic of how my business is going. So you want to then treat yourself being a hairstylist like a business. This is a career. This is serious. So if you want to do hair in the home, if you want to go just do house calls all day, that changes the dynamics of your business. So, I like stability. I like, when you come in, you know where you're coming, you know that, you want wine, champagne, you need us to order you some food. Like, these are the things that how I cater to my clientele. And I think that you have to understand where you want to be. So first off, like I said, find your niche. Find your mentor, narrow down what your niche is. You definitely got to be passionate about this game. And the reason why you want to work under someone is so that you can discover what you're good at. Me personally, I'm good at a lot of things because I've had a very extensive career. I started in New York where we was doing relaxers and doobie wraps and all that stuff. Then I I started in DC with the crunch curls and all of that, and, salt and pepper and all of that. Then I moved to New York and I was doing this, and then LA. So my career naturally evolved, which made me a better stylist. Then I went to work in a white salon because I wanted to know how to round brush, how they get that look. I want to do that. So, being able to just delve into different worlds, you really have to be flexible. You know what I mean? And open-minded. You know what I mean? So those are the things that I think. It was a long-winded question, but.
No, that was the opposite of a quick take, but we'll take literally all of it, Kiyah. That was incredible. And that's what our listeners are here for. They want the advice. And who better than to hear it from you? Kiyah, where can everybody find you one last time before we say goodbye?
You guys can find me you can start with KiyahWright.com because you can get a little bit of everything.
Let's go there. Yep.
And you can go to, but you got to follow me on Instagram, Kiyah Wright #1. And you can check out my hair stuff over at MUZE Hair Beauty. And I got a YouTube page too.
Go subscribe, y'all. Amazing. All right, Kiyah, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being on the Volume Up podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Appreciate it.